We are going to study about the different landforms which are being created because of groundwater and how a groundwater can also cause erosion. So, work of groundwater. Rainwater absorbs carbon dioxide as it falls, and this carbon dioxide gets converted or gets combined with the water to form carbonic acids. So, this acidic water it gets into the ground and it moves inside the soil and starts cracking the rock. So, whenever the rain water is coming, the atmospheric carbon dioxide or the carbon dioxide which is released because of the trees, so such carbon dioxide it gets combined with the water to form carbonic acid, and this carbonic acid when it starts entering inside the earth crust, at that time there is a chemical reaction which undergoes, and because of that the underground water starts making a cracks into the soil. So the groundwater is a strong erosional force and it works to dissolve away the solid rock. So the carbonic acid is especially a good at dissolving the rock limestone. So there are some rock like limestone, dolomite which gets dissolved with the water easily with formation of some carbonates and some chemical reactions undergoing. So, infiltration of water into the subsurface tends to be concentrated where joints and fractures exist in the rock. So, this is the reason why the groundwater forms the landform below the earth's surface. So, what is the main entry point from where the water starts entering inside the ground? The entry point is any type of joint, any type of crack inside the rock is only the point from where the water starts entering inside the rock or the earth's surface. So, groundwater is often cheaper, more convenient, and less vulnerable to pollution than surface water. Therefore, it is commonly used for public water supplies. So, as the groundwater is totally free from pollution, it is inside the earth's surface. It is more convenient, and it is the cost of that groundwater is very cheap and it is less polluted. Because of that, basically groundwater is used for all the public water supplies. So polluted groundwater is less visible and more difficult to clean up than the pollution in the rivers and lakes. But in case if your groundwater it gets polluted, then it is very difficult to clean that groundwater, because as compared to the cleaning the river or cleaning the lake is an easiest process as compared to cleaning the groundwater system. So groundwater pollution most often results from improper disposal of waste on land. So groundwater helps grow our food. 64% of groundwater is used for irrigation to grow the crops. Most probably, the groundwater is used for the public consumption, or it is used for the agricultural purpose, purpose to grow the crops. So groundwater is an important component in many industrial processes, whereas it is a source of recharge for lakes, rivers, and wetlands. So if the rivers, lakes, and wetlands these are not having the sufficient amount of water, so you have an option like groundwater from where you can consume the water. So let us study about the sinkholes now. In the roof of a cave collapse, a sinkhole could form. Some sinkholes are large enough to swallow up a home or several homes in the nearby hood. In the areas of the land with water soluble rocks such as gypsum and limestone, the acidic water dissolves the rock and such cracks enlarge with time. So sinkhole, they are the holes on the surface area which allows the water to get inside. And this sinkholes, when they start getting bigger and bigger, they start becoming larger, then they can occupy the place of a home also. So such cracks it starts enlarging after a certain period of time. They eventually become larger and then due to the continuous solution develop into a roughly circular surface depression called the sinkholes. So if there is a continuous flow of water from some surface area, then that surface starts getting converted into sinkhole in a circular manner. The surface streams which sink disappears underground through sinkholes, and the surface stream which sinks disappear underground through sinkholes, and collapse of sinkholes could be significantly natural hazardous. So whenever a sinkhole is created at that particular place, the water starts entering and the stream gets disappeared when the whole water gets entered into the underground water resource. And sometimes the sinkholes also they collapse as beneath surface it starts getting enlarged, it starts getting vacant. So there are the chances of the sinkholes to collapse anytime. Next is the cave. The water that moves down through sinkhole strikes a compact and impermeable rock layer, and instead of penetrating further, it starts getting stored and flows parallel to the surface. Many times, when the water enters inside the earth crust from the sinkhole, that water, instead of penetrating down below the earth's surface, it starts percolating in a horizontal or in a parallel manner. And because of this, the water it doesn't go down, it gets stored in some particular place. So the minerals like calcium carbonate present in that particular place, they start dissolving inside the water, and because of that there is lot of dissolution and solution taking place, and this process gives a birth to the cave. So some are the larger enough and may extend to few kilometers also. In the figure you can see the cave is having a large extent. So, walking slow over many years, groundwater travels along small cracks and the water dissolves and carries away the solid rock, gradually enlarging the cracks, and eventually a cave may form. So, as the groundwater starts moving and traveling inside, the cave starts becoming more enlarging. Now we'll see about stalactites and stalagmites as well as the pillars. So the dripping water leaves behind a deposit of calcium carbonate and water dries in the caves from the ceiling. So in the figure you can see how the formation of sinkhole can be created. After a particular moment the sinkhole starts enlarging and the water gets percolated. So from the sinkhole when water starts moving all the material starts dissolving, but the calcium carbonate deposit when it starts depositing on the ceiling, so that they are called as stalactites, and when these deposits we see at the ground level then we call it as stalagmites. And in the figure you can see that when the stalactites and stalagmites they meet each other, or if there is a continuity between them, then it is getting converted into a pillar. When water is into contact with the cave air, it releases lot of carbon dioxide, and because of calcium carbonate, there is the formation of stalagmites, stalactites, and the pillars. So, because of that, the stalactites form a calcium carbonate drips at the ceiling, as well as the stalagmites forms a calcium carbonate at the ground level. So, this is how you can make a difference between both of them. For watching, do subscribe the channel.